All right, welcome to Charlotte's Rink Building Initiative. It is Monday, July 10th. And in particular, this evening, we'll be talking about some of our key dates coming up for Fall League. Hard to believe we're talking about Fall League in July, but it is just about here. We're already starting meetings to prep for it. We got to nail down some rules and some policy and some personnel decisions regarding how we're going to do this for multiple leagues. For Huntersville, Huntersville adult ball hockey, for Huntersville youth ball hockey, for Ballantyne youth ball hockey, and for Ballantyne roller adult hockey. 4 leagues. We got this. We got it. So before I do that, maybe just a quick update with current leagues. We just wrapped up our youth league in Ballantyne. It was awesome. We had an unfortunate situation where some of the player cards that we ordered did not come in. So we got some of the kids' cards on back order. Actually, I got a couple right here. Here's Piper. I'm sure she won't mind me holding us up to the camera.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. And then just some info in the back about the season and the program.
Oh man, that is so cool.
Yeah. So the ones who did receive it were pumped, and hopefully the ones who will receive it will be pumped as well.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. So that just wrapped up last weekend. We have 2 weeks left in our adult rec league ball hockey in Ballantyne. We got one regular season weekend, and then we'll do playoffs on the 22nd, which is Saturday. And then we'll be off for the rest of the summer until August 12th. Summer Slapper is a ball hockey tournament that we're doing at the Ballantyne at the Morrison Y. Let me just make sure that date is right. Yes, Saturday, August 12th. We're doing something a little fun, a little different. We're going to start that tournament around 5 p.m. We're going to finish under the lights for a championship and a trophy presentation. And then we're in the Fall League. So what I wanted to do was share a calendar just so people are aware. The weekend of the 2nd of September and 3rd and 4th is Labor Day. So as is tradition, we will begin our Fall League on the following weekend. We've traditionally done youth hockey, Huntersville, and Ballantyne on Saturday. So we will let people know. I don't see anything changing, but we haven't finalized anything, so we'll talk about it. So the youth ball hockey Saturday at both locations. I believe we will run roller hockey on Saturdays too in Ballantyne, probably after youth. So like a late morning start, which right now is troublesome because of the heat, but come September and October, November, we'll be okay with that. So that's not a big deal. And then we've always run Sunday mornings for adult ball hockey in Huntersville. We'll probably do that again too, but nothing finalized. So working backwards, just so people can be familiar with our operations and how things run. If we want to order jerseys for the leagues, which I believe we do, the 10th, 9th and 10th is the weekend that will start. So we got to rewind about 3 weeks. We got to have rosters submitted and finalized by middle of August. So August 16th to the 19th, which means registration's got to cut off, maybe that weekend before or earlier. So probably August 12th cutoff. And what does that mean? That means we got to open up registration like at the end of July, and we'll have it open for 2 or 3 weeks. So we're looking at like a July 26th, 27th Fall League registration opening. So that's just a couple weeks away, which is crazy to think about.
So can I ask a question, Josh?
Yep.
So with roller, I know with the first season being that spring 23 season, I think we were shooting for originally 4 teams and then grew it to 6. This sounds like you're suggesting we're just going to open up registration and leave it open and kind of see where we land. Is that kind of right?
Yes and no. I think we will come up with some sort of policy that we haven't identified yet. We got another roller meeting, I think this week on Thursday, to talk about how to do that. The main thing is, what I would love to do is just open registration, get as many skaters as possible. There's a reason that we might cap it, for example, number of goalies. We can get enough skaters for like 12 teams maybe, but I don't know if we could find 12 goalies. But I don't see any problem that we couldn't find or ask people to recruit goalies if it's like a 4 to a 6 or 6 to an 8 even.
Yeah.
But just something to be aware of. Like we got to be able to match up those two things.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, I really do think, especially with the weather and the fall and the way that we've been, kind of posting a little bit more about CSHL roller hockey. I think we're going to get a ton of registrations. I got high hopes for that.
I
think
think
we'll
you're
get
right.
a lot of returners from last season. I think we'll get people who are currently participating in the Lake Norman hockey. As good as that is, this is maybe offering a little bit more space. Obviously location is a concern if you live in Lake Norman. I don't know if you're making the trip to Valentine, but maybe you are for some roller hockey down there. But I got a good sense or a good feeling of us blowing registration out of the water from spring league, but we'll see how it goes. We're always prepared for more, for less, for whatever.
Do you get the sense there's quite a few players playing in Huntersville right now that didn't play in our league in the spring?
I've kind of been paying attention to that page, and I'm guessing by Huntersville you mean the Lake Norman one up there, the indoor one?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. I see some names. I recognize probably about half of the names that registered up there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But so the names that I don't recognize, I'm not sure, but I would assume that they maybe live in the area or are new to it or just I don't know. I don't know where they came from. But I recognize quite a few names.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah, and then to go forward, so if you look at the rest of the year, traditionally our ball hockey finishes before Thanksgiving. So it's not a crazy long season, right? It's just all of September. So if we take, we'll say Sunday, for example, 10th, 17th, 24th of September, there's 3. You got 5 in October. And then we usually try to keep a buffer weekend before Thanksgiving, just in case there's a weather or something so that we don't have to delay it a week or two. So we usually try to finish by, we'll call it November 12th. So if you have 2 weeks for playoffs, that'll be the 5th and the 12th. We are looking at an 8-week regular season for, at least for ball hockey. The reason we do that is because we hit Thanksgiving, and then the following Saturday after Thanksgiving, which Phil is familiar with because he played in one, is our biggest tournament of the year, the Almost Winter Classic. Will fall on Saturday, December 2nd this year. But roller certainly doesn't have to comply with that or match that. They are welcome, or we are welcome to do a similar style tournament like right around the holidays. I would recommend early in December before people start to travel. But if we do that, it just limits the weeks that we could play. So it's kind of what we're looking at. We did get approved. Here's one good news. We do have the flexibility or capacity of a weeknight. I think either Tuesday or Thursday, the Y was okay with. So we're still finalizing that detail too. If maybe we make that part of the regular schedule, or if we just kind of use that as a buffer for rainouts and makeups and that sort of thing.
Okay, that's cool, man.
Yeah. So, I'm sharing a lot of these details early. We have committee meetings this week and next week to put finishing touches on. And of course, announcements will be made. If whoever is watching this is concerned about where registration will be announced, we try to post on all social media platforms and email all at the same time. I know, Phil, you're one of the members, right, who doesn't have access to Facebook. So we'll post on our Facebook page. We send out an email blast. So especially if you played last year, you're already on the list, and we'll get communication out to you. And then Open Sports is where we hold some of our pickups. I feel like there's one more spot. We're going to post it everywhere. You'll see it. Is my message. So yeah, that's the gist of Fall League coming up as we wrap up our summer activities. We'll probably, if you might have a question like what's going on in August, I don't know. We kind of shut it down. It's like the one time in the year where it's really hot. Everybody kind of needs a break. All our volunteers are either traveling or have already been stretched thin. So probably not going to do too much besides roller pickups, which are still available on Wednesday evenings. And it's hot out there.
Yeah.
So that's the gist of league play. Maybe just a quick update with the board positions. So we are meeting tomorrow as a board to finalize 3 or 4 of the vacancies. So we're excited about that. Probably a little bit ahead of schedule actually of what we thought we'd be. Still intending to use all of July and August as needed. To find people, to recruit people, to interview people. to become part of the board. So we're excited about the additions we're about to make. It's more of a formality as far as I'm concerned, unless anything surprising happens, knock on wood. But we'll have some announcements by this time in 2 weeks when we next record one of these.
So are these the early ones that you're filling? Are these some of the newer positions, or are these some of the ones where we're just kind of backfilling folks that are, you know, stepping out of their terms?
It's a little bit of both, to be honest. One is the league commissioner. We got a lot of interest for that. And another one is replacing a current board member who's stepping back that actually interviewed for the league commissioner role. So it's more of an approval. Hey, we see this as the vision. We think you'd be a good fit here. Do you accept this position? That person might say no. So we'll see what happens. But I think they, you know, we got the message from them that they just want to be involved and that they would be open to other ideas. So we'll see how that goes.
Oh, that's cool. It's neat that the organization has that, you know, big of a presence now that, you know, there's some, you know, horizontal options for folks. That's really cool.
Yeah. And the theme is, you know, the people who have shown interest thus far just want to be involved. They just, you know, they either just moved to the area or they've been around long enough and it's time for them to, you know, contribute at this level. So we're excited about those additions. Very excited.
They get their number called, don't they?
So that's that. So, you know, still a bit of flux, but as expected, probably be another month or two before we get everything finalized there. All right, and I debated showing this. I probably shouldn't because it's not approved yet. It's on its way to being approved, and it's very complicated. But for the articulate people and the people who are detail oriented, they will appreciate this. I'm gonna throw up our drawing here. This is our Huntersville hockey court. They're calling it a multi-purpose rink officially. Basketball will be played on it, possibly soccer, and of course hockey. So this is going to be a mess. So this is going the long ways of the current basketball court. As you can see, there are around the perimeter, there's 4 basketball hoops going the wide ways across. So if you can picture this, we're going to have basketball lines and hockey lines. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be confusing. But the perimeter that you see is our dasher boards with 45-degree corners. So it is going to be very boxy still, but at least there's something in the corners that, you know, is conducive to not letting the ball get stuck there. But kind of awkward dimensions. So you can see at the top a little bit, just barely there. It's 114 feet, 6 inches long of playing surface. And then the width is in the very, very bottom left corner, 80 feet, 6 inches wide. So how does that compare if you've played at the tennis court? It's almost the same length. I think it's just maybe a couple feet longer, and it's way wider. It's about 15 feet wider, or maybe even more than that. So it's going to feel like there's a lot more room. We're thinking this would be perfect dimensions for youth hockey to play 5-on-5. And then we might have to have a decision to make about adult. Is it big enough to play 5-on-5? We've played 4-on-4 at the tennis court forever. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, just as 57 feet is half court. You know, this is probably about 40 feet short of regulation. Like if we wanted to be official. So it's shorter, but it serves our purpose. And thank you for the people out there who I've consulted in helping us. You know who you are. So 10 feet behind the net, 42 feet to the blue line. Anyways, I won't go over all of it, but here it is. So this is what it's going to look like. 9 face-off dots. Instead of having a circle in the defensive zone, we're just going to have little dashes in the ground. Just keep as few lines as possible. Goal crease, blue line, goal lines, all that good stuff. Oh, and excited about the top part here. So the player bench, penalty box, scorekeeper, penalty box, player bench. I didn't put lines in there because I didn't want them to get confused, but that will be enclosed. It'll be an actual official bench area that's enclosed for all these different needs here. So that'd be good. Yep.
And much improved, huh? Much improved.
Well, you know, it's almost like I can't even picture what it will look like, but I'm excited to just like the last I heard is that end of July, we're on schedule for the shipment to be made. Once that happens, August will be like assembly. I heard news that they have removed the basketball hoops, the old ones. They're going to back them up a couple feet so that our boards can go in, and the hoops will go over top. Yeah, and we're hoping everything is ready to go for fall league, or else we'll be in big trouble. In the bleacher area on the very bottom. So for those who have been to Waymer, this is like where the road is here up top. And then shed is probably like somewhere in the bottom, like down here, over here. It's not a very good shed. There we go. And then they're gonna add like a bleacher area at the bottom for like fans and stuff. So anyways, excited about that. It'll be a nice for all our efforts for the rink building initiative, this is what we have to show for so far. So a nice stepping stone to what we actually want, which I think the more that we say it, the better off we'll be. Rinks built on some property that we get approved for. If I have to do it myself and buy a property, give me like 5 or 10 years, I'll get there. One way or another, this is happening. It's just taking time.
Well, that's exciting. That's really exciting.
And maybe the last bit of news that I can, is at least applicable to share is tile for Valentine. Okay. The official word is it's too late to get anything in the budget for this year. So I don't want to get anybody's hopes up that this is happening in the next 6 months, but we've at least started to have conversations about what it would cost. So we got a couple of different vendors. I've had samples shipped to my house directly in the last year or so, been accumulating pricing and feedback from players on what they like. And we have various pricing that we'll be submitting to the Y probably by the end of this week. And purposely kind of overshot what we thought it would cost so that it'll be more attractive when they receive it. And my hope is that they'll act more quickly on it than they say, but there's lots of hoops that I don't even care to cover tonight about what they have to do and board and this and that for their costs. So they have money. That's not the problem. It's more about, hey, will this be an ROI? And I think it definitely will. There's no doubt in my mind. We're going to get so many people to come out once that surface. I think that holds a lot of people back, more people back from actually signing up. It's just a surface out there. It's dreadful. That concrete. It's better than nothing, but it's not as good as tile.
I wonder too with that overlay of tile. So many times we get rained out for just the smallest amount of precipitation. So I wonder having that barrier, probably not so much for actual rain, but some of that stuff that kind of creeps in from the outside and kind of soaks those corners. I wonder if we'll get more games in without that nonsense happening. At least a lot less of that upkeep and prep required for each game.
Yeah, and those would be for days where maybe it rains the day before and it has enough time to drain through, so it's not sitting up on top. Like if it's raining or just has rain, I think we'll still kind of be screwed because the tile will be wet. But there'll be plenty of instances where we can play on the tile, whereas we wouldn't have been able to on the concrete, or we just need 10 people out there blowing leaf blowers out there. Hey, if we never had to worry about that again, that would be freaking amazing. So I think that might be about it. I'm trying to think of anything else I can think of. Yeah, it's all I can think of for now. For anyone who cares, our NBHL season has come to a close, the regular season. Queen City Crowns have finished, I think it's in second place. I actually got to look that up right now. But one of the Raleigh teams is a juggernaut, and we struggled against them this year. We went 1-4 against them, I believe. So they finished in first. I'm going to confirm if we finish in second, and then the Charlotte Rise finish in last. And our playoffs will be 3 weeks from yesterday. So July 30th will be somebody's ticket will be punched to the Milet Cup in September, where everyone competes for the glory up there.
Is that in New Jersey?
In New Jersey, yep, Marlton, New Jersey. 15.
You get the sense that the Rise, I mean, no one wants to finish in last, but that's a inaugural season. So, expectations would be tempered. How did they feel?
Yeah, they were disappointed. I talked to Coach Steckler actually just today. Just bummed. They've gotten so much better since the beginning. It's just a different beast, different animal playing on that rink, playing under those pretenses. And, the team has really come together, and they took one of the Raleigh teams to overtime twice. They just didn't beat them. They went into a shootout yesterday, lost in a shootout. But they played teams tough. They've had a decent season, just didn't have a win to show for it. There's only 9 games, so it's not like, there's only 3 weekends that we were up there. So, but it doesn't matter. They're in the playoffs, and anything can happen. And we'll see what happens July 30th.
Oh, man.
All right. Let's wrap this. Any final thoughts, Phil?
None from this corner.
All right.